For the last decade, digital visibility was built on commodity content. Search traffic relied on publishing general, easily replicated information. Things like 7 tips for first-time homebuyers. It was a reliable, predictable baseline for the web. Generative AI broke that baseline. Language models now allow anyone to instantly flood the web with thousands of these templated articles. The supply of generic advice has become effectively infinite overnight. Google responded with oppressive manual spam penalties. These actions are currently wiping out entire networks of scaled blog posts. If a site leans heavily on automated, templated content, the algorithm removes its visibility entirely. Chris Ott, who runs a pressure washing company in Spokane, Washington, experienced the cost of this shift. He spent $18,000 over 18 months paying local marketing agencies for traditional templated SEO. It generated 0 phone calls. Relying on generic information is a direct algorithmic and financial risk. As Chris discovered, paying for easily duplicated content often results in no measurable business growth. Some creators pivot to the opposite extreme, hyper-personal anecdotes. They write headlines like, "Why we waived the inspection, crawled the PVC sewer line, and saved $15,000. This is authentic and impossible to automate, but it lacks traditional search structure. This shows why that approach fails to capture traffic. There is a massive bar for a generic term, and a flat 0-volume baseline for the conversational query. Humans do not type highly specific narrative experiences into a search bar. They search for broad categories. This creates a paradox. The search machine requires exact, high-volume keywords to function, yet it now penalizes pages that look as if they were written solely to house those keywords. Surviving this environment requires moving past old writing habits and adopting a new structural approach to web pages. A recent Search Central event in Toronto provided evidence of how Google distinguishes between generic and specific information. A slide from that presentation went viral because it defined exactly what Google now calls non-commodity content. Google defines high-quality non-commodity content through 3 parameters. It must be specific to a situation, authentic to the author, and based on experiential knowledge that others lack or cannot easily replicate. These parameters serve as proof of origin. When an article describes a specific bidding war or a look inside a PVC sewer line, it proves to the algorithm that the information was not hallucinated by a language model. To rank in the modern era, a single piece of content must bridge the gap between rigid machine logic and verifiable human experience. This is achieved through a dual-engine formula. It is an architectural solution that satisfies the search bot while remaining valuable to the human reader. First engine, the exact match keyword, how to reduce shipping costs. It appears in the URL, H1 tag, and first sentence to satisfy bots. The second engine is the non-commodity wrapper, a breakdown of our most expensive month and the fix that cut it in half. This specific experience-based wrapper secures human engagement. It promises first-hand knowledge and real stakes, providing a specific reason for a user to click your result over a dozen generic alternatives. The page anatomy is split. The invisible architecture serves the bot, while the visible promises serve the human. Google's guidelines state that they do not penalize AI-generated content itself, but they do penalize scaled content abuse. This makes AI a dangerous choice for writing the actual content. A safe prompting strategy involves using AI as a structural tool. You provide the model with an exact keyword and your actual business data, then ask it to generate non-commodity title structures that bridge the two. In this workflow, AI acts as a packager of human experience, organizing raw data into the specific structures Google now prioritizes for discovery. When Chris Ott implemented this specific strategy, his results shifted. Instead of 0 ROI, his pages began generating 6 to 8 calls per day, outranking the local agencies that relied on generic templates. However, there is a risk in over-optimizing. Google's algorithm detects repetitive structural patterns. If every post on a domain follows the exact same keyword, anecdote format, it triggers spam filters. You must vary the formatting. This means changing punctuation, shifting the keyword placement, and avoiding rigid chunking that is clearly designed only for machine scrapers. Copying the dual-engine formula without organic variation creates a new type of detectable commodity content. The goal is to use the structure without letting the pattern become the content itself. While search seems to be changing rapidly, we are actually seeing a long-term stabilization. The historical methods for faking authority are simply losing their effectiveness. The cat-and-mouse game of faking authority with SEO tricks is ending. Those technical loopholes are shutting for good. The requirement for modern search is actual, lived experience. This experience must be clearly labeled and structured so the machine can identify it as unique and non-commodity. Digital visibility now flows to creators who document real experiences and apply the structural discipline required for machine discovery.